stay positive, respect Mother Nature, stick with the plan. Hey everybody, thanks so much for tuning in for my race report for the Aravaipa Limitless Vertical Challenge. This video took place a couple of weeks ago. Did most of my mileage on Monday, Memorial Day. I believe that was the 25th of May, and then wrapped up the week that following Saturday. So really fun, really enjoyable race for me. Was able to clock 14,500 feet of vertical gain. I got 11,000 feet of vertical gain just in the first day on that Monday. Was quite a big effort for me and much more than I'd ever done previously. I think the most that I'd ever gotten in a single day previous to that was when I did the Grand Canyon rim to rim. I did somewhere in the neighborhood of 6,000 or 7,000 feet. So this was a big jump for me. A good way to kick off the summer season and start my training. You will notice in the video, and you'll kind of see it towards the end, I actually used two different watches to track my mileage and my elevation gain. For Monday, the first big day, I used the Garmin Fenix 6 Pro, which I actually decided to return that watch and get the 6X Pro. So the following Saturday, I actually used my old watch, my Garmin Vivo Active 3 Music, and that watch, there were some corrupt files on it. So I had to clean that up. I didn't know that on the day that I did my second half of my race. So there was, it didn't track it very well. So I had to kind of do some of the math on my own and figure out how much vertical gain I got, but I was able to get just over 14,500, which is the level 4 for the Aravaipa Limitless Vertical Challenge, which is Mount Whitney. That's the elevation of it above sea level. So was able to get that, and was a great experience again for me. Certainly a lot of work. It was tough, no doubt. And you'll see that in the video coming up here in a second, but it was a great experience and really enjoyed it a lot. I'll show you, I actually opted to get one of the upgraded medals. So that's what that looks like. It's pretty awesome what Aravaipa Artworks can do. You'll see the logo for Aravaipa Artworks there on the back, but they overlay wood and glass to make it look like the mountains and clouds. It's pretty neat what they're doing over there with some of their metals and stuff. So I thought that was really cool. That'll look really good in the office or wherever I decide to put it. But really happy about that. The bag with registration, you also get a shirt, a bib, some stickers, that sort of stuff. So also, if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like and subscribe. It really helps me out a lot, helps the channel out a lot. Also, if you have suggestions for types of videos that you'd like me to produce in the future, certainly let me know. I do have a handful of videos lined up to be coming out here in the near future, some of them being reviews of my watch, the Garmin Fenix 6X Pro, and then a few other things as well. So expect that videos will be coming out every couple of weeks or so. And again, if you have suggestions, would love to hear them. Thanks so much for watching, and roll the footage. All right, good morning everyone. Today is race day and I have begun the Aravaipa Limitless Vertical Challenge. I'm about 1.5 miles in to my day. Pretty windy here in the canyon, so I apologize if the audio is bad. But I've gotten a little over 1,000 feet of vertical gain so far. The goal today is somewhere in the 10,000 to 12,000 foot range. Goal is just to take it slow. All right, this is a check-in, my second check-in for the day. So just made it to where I'm peaking out for the day. I think this is called Irie Peak, or this kind of set of hills right here is Irie Peak. You might be able to see off in the distance there, that is Thurston Peak, I believe. There was some snow that fell over the weekend, Memorial Weekend, here in Utah, in the mountains at least. Most of that has melted now, but just doing my check-in. I've got about 5.5 miles and 3,800 feet of vertical gain. So going pretty well so far. If I can do that at least 2 more times, maybe 3 more times today, that would be great. About a little bit more than 2 hours in. But I don't know how good the video is. It's kind of trying to sit in the shade while I take a break. Lap 1 is done, about 11.5 miles and 4,000 feet of elevation gain. So take about a 20-minute break here. Everything's going really well. A little bit of stomach issues. When I say that, just kind of some uneasiness, cramping, that sort of stuff. So I think it just needs some salt. I've got a handful of stuff here at the car that will be good. I've got some salted potatoes and some salt tabs and all sorts of coconut water and drinks and chips and all the good stuff. So I'm gonna take a minute to load up. I'll probably take some more nutrition with me on the second lap because I was feeling like I needed some more even after the first. So I'll be even more depleted on the second lap. So I'll take some more nutrition with me. But overall, things are going well. I'm feeling pretty good. And I will check in once I get to the top for round 2. All right, we have started lap 2. Took a little bit longer break at the car than I had anticipated. Stomach was just not feeling great, so took about a 30-minute break there. Got lots of fluids in me and ate some chips and some salted potatoes, etc. So we have started lap 2. Have a feeling lap 2 is going to be harder than lap 1. But it should be good. It's definitely starting to warm up a little bit. The sun has come out, and I'm definitely glad that I chose to do this today and not on Saturday when it's supposed to be 93 degrees. I can't even imagine trying to do it when it's that hot. So overall, doing pretty well so far. Start supplementing with some salt and sodium. That seemed to settle my stomach a little bit when I ran the Black Canyon. Last time I got to kind of this point where the stomach was not feeling right. So start to take a salt tab about every hour or so and see how we do. Overall, just try to manage my effort a little bit so that I've got enough energy to have a good day. But still a lot of work ahead. Pretty close to making it to my second summit. And as things usually go, it is feeling harder than I thought it would, which is okay. Well, that's cool. Look, I'm not sure if you can see it right off the top. There's a hang glider. Getting ready to make it to the summit the second time. I've got about 7,000 feet climbing right now. Feel a little bit more, but definitely feeling pretty gassed, which is okay. I've taken more calories with me this time, and I've drank both of my flasks on the way up, and then I've got 2 bottles in the back. So important to stay hydrated. One of the hard things with doing long, hard efforts is at some point you just don't feel like eating or drinking, and that's when you can kind of get in trouble. So got to make sure to keep getting fluids down, getting calories down, even when it doesn't seem like fun. But I'll give you a shot here in just a second when I get up to the top, and we'll just keep fighting through. That's kind of how it goes. Nothing worth doing is easy. Alright guys, just made my second summit. I didn't quite get as much vertical gain on this trip up. There's a couple of kind of ups and downs on the other side of the summit that I didn't do because I am trying to get back to the upper parking lot to meet my wife and kids, who are just kind of coming to check on me and bring me a popsicle, maybe some pickles, which is kind of my favorite thing when I'm doing longer adventures. So overall, not feeling great on the climb. My stomach is just not sitting right, so trying to get calories and salt and stay hydrated, all that stuff. Overall hydration I think is really good, but aside from that, just stomach's not doing great. So I'll head back down to the car and take a little break. I might take a longer break this time, maybe 45 minutes to an hour, something like that, and make one final push to get at least 10,000 feet of vertical gain today, which is going to happen. There's no ands, ifs, or buts about that, so I will push through and make sure that I get that regardless of the situation. So I will just keep pushing. I've got, I think I'm close to something like 19 miles right now, and just over 7,000 feet of vertical gain. So basically one more trip up will get me to the 10,000 mark. But you never know, with longer efforts like this, sometimes things turn around and you just start feeling great. So hopefully that is the case today, and we are able to push through. I am able to push through and make this happen. And I'd love to be able to get something more like 12,000 feet today. That way I don't have as much work to do on Saturday to get to that 14,505 mark. But we'll just kind of take what comes. All right, guys, last lap, final push. Just started. Stomach still not 100%, but definitely better than it was. So we're just gonna keep moving, put one foot in front of the other at this point. I've been out since it's now 3:15. I started at about 6:20, so that is 9 hours. Is that right? So going for 9 hours. Probably put in another 4 is my guess, and end the day with, I don't know, 13 hours of moving. First break I did was a 30-minute break. Second one that I just finished was an hour break. I just needed the time to settle my stomach, to sit and rest, and put a cold towel on my neck, that kind of stuff. So I think I mentioned it before, but my wife picked me up at the upper parking lot and drove me down to where my car was. So that saved me about 2.5 miles of downhill, about 1,300 feet of elevation difference there. So did that, was planning on doing that the whole time just to save myself a little bit on the downhill, save that energy for the final lap here, the final push. So I'm just gonna, as I said, just keep moving and see how things go. My stomach is definitely feeling better than it was, so we'll see what I've got left in the tank and see if we can make it to the top. If not, as I said, one way or the other, we are getting 10,000 feet of elevation today, regardless of how it comes. So it's definitely warmed up quite a bit. It is hottest part of the day, being 3:15 now. Sorry, I got a spider web or something on my face. Being 3:15 now, it's about the hottest part of the day, but we'll be under the canopy here in a second, and it'll definitely be cooler. Also, as we go up the mountain, the temperature will drop a little bit. So, all right, as I'm getting ready to wrap up and finish this last lap, I thought I would take a second and just give you some tips for big adventures or ultra races or things like that that I think are really important to focus on. And it's kind of the details that can make or break a race or a day. Some of the things that I've done today that I think have helped, probably the first thing is to stay positive. There's going to be times when it's going to get hard and you're going to feel like, well, I just need to call it a day, like things are just not going my way. Well, what you need to do during those times is tell yourself that it's going to get better, focus on the things that will help it get better, and lean on any support or crew that you have. But at the end of the day, you've got to will yourself to finish what you need to and to get done what you want. That being said, you need to know yourself and trust your body. Don't push past limits that are going to get you in trouble, get you injured, those type of things. As far as actual things that you can do to ensure that you have a good day, one of the biggest things that I think that can ensure that you have a really bad day is if you have any blistering or chafing. Those are two things that can make you really uncomfortable, and once you get a blister, it's not really going away. It's going to be there for the rest of your race, rest of your day. Same thing with chafing. I've seen some really intelligent, smart ultra runners get some nasty chafing. Sometimes they push through. You know, obviously that's something that you certainly can push through, but it's going to hurt and you're going to regret it. So what I do is I use Squirrel's nut butter, great product, and I use that specifically on my feet. The biggest and most important part there is prevention. So I don't put a little bit on the spots where I think I'm going to get blisters. I lather my feet in Squirrel's nut butter. So, and I've been doing that each time I get back to the car today, taking off my socks for a little while, letting them dry out, clean them off. The two things that are going to cause some of that blistering is dirt and sweat. So you got to let them dry off, you got to clean them off, and you got to make sure that you use some type of product, like I mentioned, Squirrel's nut butter, and don't use it sparingly. Be very generous with it. Same thing in areas that you might get chafing. Be sure to stay on top of that early and make sure to put some preventative measures in place. One of the other things that I think can be hard, especially with bigger, longer efforts, is you're gonna get to a point where you don't feel like eating, you don't feel like drinking. It just doesn't sound good. Your stomach's not sitting right, whatever it is. Those are the times when you've got to just push through and stomach it. I've been, the last lap in particular, about 3.5, 4 hours worth, didn't feel like eating pretty much the whole time. But you got to continue to do it consistently, stick with the plan. Most people will do 300 calories an hour, a gel every 45 minutes, whatever your plan is, depending on the length and intensity of your effort. Stick to the plan, even if you don't feel like it. Because once you get behind on nutrition, it's really hard to catch up. And you might put yourself in a place that you can't come back from. So those are just a few tips for the day. But as I said, second lap, I was not feeling well, not feeling hungry. Stomach was tight, not feeling great about finishing up with the last lap. Stuck through it, continue to get those calories in, and I'm actually feeling really good now. I'm kind of thinking that I can do one more summit and then maybe another half trip today. So we'll just see how it goes, but I'm kind of taking it easy here and just not rushing anything, making sure, again, not to get into a deficit, not to push too hard, because if I don't have the energy that I need to finish it, then it's not really going to much matter. So I got to take it slow and just get the day done. So again, this is a virtual race. It's mostly just to see what I can do. I'm not racing against anybody. I'm just seeing what I'm capable of and what I can do and enjoying time in the mountains. So, all right, so just wrapping up the day. For the most part, I just hit 10,000 feet of elevation. I'm at 10,081 feet of elevation gain for the day, so pretty good day. This is lap 3 up the mountain. I'll probably get another, 800, maybe 1,000 feet of elevation still. I'm gonna do those 3 little, I guess they're not little, those 3 hills right there. So we'll get a little bit of elevation there, and then on the way back too, I'll get some elevation. So probably in somewhere in the neighborhood of about 11,000 feet of elevation for the day, but it is about 5:30. I started at about 6:20, so going at it for 11 hours. This last lap has been good. It's been hard. I mean, obviously not an easy route that I've chosen, but it's been much better on my stomach, and my mood has been much better. Really good attitude. So grateful for the time that I get to spend in the mountains, and what I'll really be grateful for is a cold bath when I get home. Soak my legs. Can't really feel, they don't hurt when you're doing big activities like this, as long as you're staying hydrated and getting enough salt, that sort of stuff. But once you stop, that's when they hurt. So it's definitely going to be painful. I did 2 weeks ago when I did it just once, I was pretty sore for a couple of days. So you can imagine what I might feel like after doing it 3 times. But overall, very satisfied with the day and happy with what I've been able to accomplish here. As I mentioned before, not over yet. Goal is still 14,505 feet for the week. So probably take most of the rest of the week off. Might do a little shakeout at some point, Wednesday or Thursday maybe. Do a little bit of walking, but I'll do one more day in the mountains on Saturday, just in the morning. Might try a new trail for that. We'll see, but got to get to that 14,505 mark. So might do one more video at the bottom, not sure, but at least for now, that is a wrap on my 10K in a day project, except for getting down the mountain. All right, so that is completion of day 1 of the Aravaipa Limitless Vertical Challenge. I just hit 32 miles a second ago, and I've got just over 11,000 feet of elevation gain, 11,023. So the last 2 miles or so has been downhill, but I have just been taking my time, and it's actually been really good. It's probably good for recovery, but it's been very peaceful. Hasn't been as many people on the trail, and there's some clouds that are covering the sunset, which actually makes it nice and cool. And yeah, it's been very peaceful, a good time to reflect on everything that's happened today and just think about, you know, where my training is, and also, you know, just kind of take some time to be introspective and think about the stuff that really matters in life, right? Because training is fun, and I think it does bring out the best in people and helps people to find motivation that can be transferred into other areas of life. But ultimately, there are definitely more important things in life. So I'm almost back to my car / aid station / beacon of healing, and I'm going to go home, drink a big protein shake, take an ice cold bath, and hang out with my wife and kids. I will do another update at the conclusion of the week on my last day of training, which should be Saturday. I'll just do one trip on Saturday, and that will get me to my goal of 14,505. And that's it for now. Good morning. We are on leg 2 of the Aravaipa Limitless Vertical Challenge today. I started about 2 miles in, roughly, doing part of the same trail that I did on Monday, but then I'm going to veer off and head to the other mountain once I get up to the parking lot up here. So this first section is about 2.5 miles, 1,300 feet of elevation gain, and then the second portion, not sure what's going on up here, there's a gathering of people. Second portion, I'm not sure exactly how much vertical feet it is. I think it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 2,000. So we'll get pretty close today. Today I'll be getting, bug in my ear, I'll be getting about 3,500 feet of elevation gain to put me over the top for level 4 of the Limitless Vertical Challenge. That gives me 14,505 is the goal. So I did 11,000 feet on Monday, but beautiful morning, very serene. Trying to get out early because it's supposed to be warm today, mid-90s, which is the hottest day that we've had this year thus far. So yeah, I'll give you some footage, but overall should be a good day. A little bit warm, but that's okay. You just take the conditions that you get. So that is a little bit concerning. You can see there when it says ascent, it says 185. And I am almost 2 miles into this section, and I know that this section is 2.5 miles long with 1,300 feet of elevation gain. So it's got me a little bit worried that maybe my old Garmin is not reading like it should. Certainly could be because I'm just in this canyon, it's not getting a good signal. So hopefully once we get to the top, it updates and is able to read more accurately where I'm actually at. So we just got up to the upper parking lot. I don't know if my altimeter on my watch just decided to give up, is broken or whatnot, but I'll show you the reason that I'm concerned. You can see here, it says you are here, elevation's about 6,200 feet. And then you can see on my watch, it says ascent 185, elevation 5,200. So I've gained at least 1,000 feet of vertical gain. Well, I guess 1,200 because you got to count for that 185 feet as well. So hopefully once I get a little bit higher on top of the mountains behind me, it will update and catch a signal. But as of right now, it's not giving me anything. It hasn't changed at all in the last 2 miles. So a little bit concerning. Not a huge deal to me, just because, you know, yes, I want to make sure that I get that 14,505, but I know, you know, how much climbing I'm doing and I've done. So you can't see it here, but you'd have to go up top here, and then there's probably another 2 miles, and you do a little bit more climbing. I know that's at least 2,200 feet of climbing up there. So that'll get me to where I want to go. So just an opportunity to push myself more than anything. You know, it's not going to break my heart if it doesn't give me accurate readings. So that's how the day is going so far. Feeling great. Average heart rates, you know, low 140s. So I'm trying to push it a little bit, but not too hard. Hiking some of the steeper inclines and running where I can. All right, so we've just about summited out for the day. I'm still not getting good data from my watch, which is frustrating. Hopefully it updates once I get back home. I tried to connect it with my phone and see if maybe my phone can pick up some type of a signal that will communicate with the watch, but that has not happened. So I'll show you. I pulled up a website just to see. So you can see on my watch it says I'm at 5195. See on the phone it says about 8,200. It's been kind of flip-flopping a couple of feet here and there, but 8,200. So I started at about 5. Well, again, from the watch you can see 5,200, about 200 feet of elevation gain. So, you know, I'm at about 3,400 feet of elevation gain on the day. So that means I would need about 100. So I'll do one little repeat, you know, once I get down towards the bottom here. But it's actually, I'm really pleasantly surprised. It was supposed to be super hot today, 93 degrees, 94 degrees, something like that. Got up here on the peak and the clouds decided to move in. It's actually a little bit breezy and chilly, so weather has been just about as perfect as it can be, and the trail is mostly clear. No snow. You can see here to the side, you know, there's a little bit of snow, but none really blocking the trail. Off in the distance there, you can see Ben Lomond, and then just right in the background, that little peak behind it is actually just slightly higher. I believe that is Willard Peak. And so Ben Lomond is at 9,700. Willard is like 60 feet higher than that. So they're kind of twins for the most part. You can see the view up here is pretty spectacular. You've got some peaks off in the distance. You can't see it because I just came over this little ridge here, but beyond that, you know, is a pretty awesome view as well. So overall, Limitless Vertical Challenge experience has been pretty stellar. A lot of fun. It's definitely beat me up. The first day certainly did. Really happy with the way I recovered. Actually recovered much more quickly than I anticipated. Was running on Thursday and Friday, so the last 2 days. Did 2.5 miles and 4.5 miles, and legs felt really good and fresh. Today with the climbing, especially the volume today, has been a little bit slower, and definitely feeling some of the miles and the vertical feet in my legs. So feeling a little bit beat up, but that's to be expected for me. You know, up to this point, the most vertical gain that I've gotten in a week is about 3,000, and this week I'm doing closer to 15,000. So with that amount of volume and increase in just a week's time, pretty happy with how I've done. So.